at the cloud of Olori. The clouds of Olori. People often say beauty is on the inside, which is factual. But when people do not see this beauty, you will not stand out. That is why the clouds of Olori brings you closer to leading lady to help you unleash the queen in you. Present your best self to the world, stand up for what you believe in with confidence of a queen, and become the best version of yourself. I am Aishat Oyindamola Additional, and I will be conversing with the Executive Director of Theois Caregivers Initiative, the President of Kwara State Civil Society Organization on sexual and gender-based violence after this time out. Welcome to the clouds of Olori.
Antonia Eminogo Orinfolami Daniel, the Director of Theois Givers Initiative, is from Indokwa East Local Government of Delta State. She completed her primary and secondary education at University of Ilorin Staff School in 1998. She had a diploma in law at the Kwara State Polytechnic and BA History at University of Ilorin. She returned to University of Ilorin after her youth service to study law. She graduated in 2016 and was called to bar in 2017. Theois Givers Initiative was established in 2009 after her youth service. Antonia is the current president of Kwara State CSO Platform on Sexual and Gender-Based Violence, the state coordinator for Child Protection Network, a member of International Federation of Female Lawyers, FIDA, secretary to the Legal Aid Committee of FIDA, the immediate past provost of Nigeria Bar Association, Ilorin branch, a member of Rotary Club International. She has done 1,000 work against sexual and child abuse. She focuses her legal profession on protection of children and women, which made her very familiar with the family court. She is married to Mr. Daniel, who works with Federal Capital Development Authority, blessed with a son named Gold.
Welcome back. With me on the program is Mrs. Antonia Erinfolami Daniel. It's such a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you.
So I'll start with, what does being a queen entails?
Well, we all know the term queen is associated with royalty. So I would say being a queen is associated with royalty. And what is a definition of royalty? The ability to do what makes you happy, the ability to be independent, the ability to be yourself, the ability to feel yourself. Let me put it that way. You feel yourself. There's this charisma that you carry along. You like what you're doing. You love yourself for who you are. Nobody is saying, oh, you have to do it this way. One thing about royalty is, as a queen, you make decision. You command. You command respect. You command things to be done the way you want it to be. So you can call yourself a queen. Thank you.
Okay, so what is your favorite thing about yourself?
Well, my favorite thing about myself is that personality in me that wants everyone to be safe. The fight for justice for everyone. That personality is what I like most about myself.
All right. So how would you describe your leadership style?
Well, leadership style is best described from people you're leading. Let me put it that way. But I would say I could be a very difficult person. But the one thing I'm very good at is people that work with me, I give them the opportunity to express themselves. I don't say, oh, because I'm your president. I don't say because I'm your coordinator. I do all things by myself. And coincidentally, most times when I have opportunity to lead associations, most people I lead are people that are even older than me in age, in experience, but I still find myself leading them. And one of the things that makes it successful is because I bring everybody on board to get things done.
Okay. So let's dig a little into your family. How did you meet your husband?
I met my husband in one of my trips to Abuja. Okay. He resides in Abuja. One of my meetings in Abuja, and I met with him, and it was just hello, hello, and that was it. And later, sometimes later, I just saw a request on Facebook. It was the same person, so I accepted him, and he was just straight to the point. Oh, I want to get married, and that was just it.
That was just it.
Yes, probably because, well, our marriage life has a lot of things. I was not his first marriage, and he was not my first marriage too. So I think at that point, both of us just wanted to move on. You understand? Both of us were old. We're not like the 16, 18-year-old people that are just trying to. Both of us were old enough, at least. Both of us, he was above 40. I was knocking on my 40 then. So it was just like, there's no
Okay.
time to waste.
All right. If I can ask this, what happened to your first marriage?
He's late.
Oh,
And same also, he's too.
oh, my condolences. Very
Thank
sorry
you.
for that. So, what impression did you have of him at first when, and what was the motivation that kept you in track with him?
Well, the motivation was the fact that I saw and I noticed is a man of God. Well, probably because of the job I do, I've seen a lot when it comes to marriages. I virtually every week I have to counsel couples that want divorce, at least two or three in a week. So I've had personal experience with people. So at the point, it was even difficult for me to. But at the point, my mom thought I was not planning to get married because it was difficult for me to get the right man. Let me put it that way. Because for every time I meet anybody, my antennas are always out. Like probably because of the stories I've been hearing from office. So I'm so sensitive. But when I met him, there's just one thing I noticed about him. He's not he's not so concerned about he's not so concerned about fame. He's more of the godly type. So I was like, okay, I think although it's not as if that's 100% assurance that it will work, but I just have that my mind, unlike all other experiences I've been having, for the first time my mind just opened up immediately. So it was more of a thing of the mind. I was not scared, unlike other experiences that even when the person looks sincere, there's this inner fear in me. But in his own case, I was just free. I was not scared. I just felt as the one.
All right. So, what bettered Theo's Givers Initiative?
Yes. After I graduated from history, really okay. Not even that. Before that, all my secondary school, my intention was to study law. And one of the reasons I wanted to study law was because as a child, I heard being a lawyer is to help people. Yes, I got some law students around my house then as a child, and when I see them and I talk to them, I think the best way they could explain law students to me then was just to tell me, oh, we are going into a profession that will help people. So I had this mentality in me. So even when I was even finishing my GSS3, I had a very good GSS3 result, and my school counselor felt I'll be good in sciences. I said no, I want to go to art because I want to become a lawyer. And that was why when I did not pass JAMB that year, I went to the diploma in law at Kwara State Polytechnic, hoping that by the time I'm done with my diploma, I would get law at the university. But I was given history. I took the history because as at that time, I was almost 7 years out of secondary school already. So the history was just like, okay, just do anything. So even as at when I was in my history, I'd always had it at the back of my mind that, okay, I will look for an opportunity to help people in the community. I didn't know anything about the NGO. I don't know how to run an NGO. But my plan there was after school, I'll get a very good job. I would get a very big salary and I'll be donating back into the society. But you know what Nigeria is like. So it was during my service year. I was a member of the press club for NYSC and I was always anchoring programs for organizations. So I was invited to anchor a program for pets. I think they're into HIV. So that was when I first of all got the wing of what NGO can be like. So right from Sokoto when I was 7, I made up my mind I was going to come back to Ilorin to find a way to join an organization, which I did barely a year after my service. I joined an organization, Save the Future, initiative here in Ilorin. So I volunteered for the organization for 1 year, and during that 1 year, I was opportune to go to a lot of trainings outside Ilorin, UNICEF training, Ministry of Women Affairs training. So after 1 year, I felt it was okay for me to start up my thing. So that was why Theois came.
Okay, so what ways has the organization engaged in enlightenment program for residents of the state?
Yeah, since I started Theois, I've been opportune to run projects for Global Fund, and majorly Global Fund project deals with the community, and this project comes with media awareness and engaging the community to do, depending on the project. Like I did one on HIV, I did one on tuberculosis, I did on child protection, and I make sure every year I run a project that has at least one project. Like last month, I celebrated the Day of the African Child, which I did a media program on radio to sensitize the public on the African child using the theme for the year. And I also had a school session. I picked a school and I had a session with them. And throughout last year, no, the year before COVID came, I also picked a school where I worked on self-esteem for the girls. For the girls, because from my office, I got to know one of the problems we have is low self-esteem. So I worked. That project is actually gender sensitive because I specifically face the girls. But aside that, I've worked in so many schools. I've had project activities in so many schools just to sensitize them, just to encourage them. 2 days ago, I was still in Kwaso with the student union government to also sensitize the students of Kwara State University. So that's an ongoing thing I do, and I make sure at least 2 to 3 times a month I find a way to get appearance on the radio so that people would also hear me through the radio. I organize rallies. I pick a topic depending on the month I want to do it. At times it might be on female genital mutilation, at times it might be on child rights, at times it might be on human rights. So I organize rallies where we have to go to the markets, car parks to talk to people, depending on that particular activity we're working on.
Sorry, how many years back did you start this Theois?
I started Theois 2010.
Okay, that is 11 years now.
Yeah,
so 11 years now, how has been the growth, the development of the organization?
Well, I would say I'm satisfied because when I was establishing Theois, I didn't establish Theois to actually get funds from donors.
Okay.
I still had in mind my initial plan of helping. That is, I get my money, I work, get my money, and help the community. So Theois is not founded on getting projects. In fact, I think as at yesterday, someone was still telling me that he doesn't understand me, that why am I not applying for funds? I said when funds come, I will. But the 2 main funds that I did for Global Fund, I didn't even apply for it. My name was just added to it. You understand? My name was added to it, and I got the funding. So Theois is not established to apply for fund. I've had so many pressures from people that with all this you're doing, you can actually apply for fund, but I don't want to be tied in quotes to, I don't want to be responsible. I want to do things my own way. You understand? I want it to be as if this is what I want. It's not, because when you're applying for fund, they'll tell you what they want. They tell you how they want it to be done. So I want it to be what I want. I want it to be my own joy. And that's one of the reasons why The Guardian in the UK, it's the only organization that they give out, is a media outreach. I was invited for their training in 2016. So I'm a media graduate on female genital mutilation.
Okay.
So I'm not a media person, but I was invited for the training as well. So I'm not a media graduate. I think that was another thing that actually encouraged my going to radio station, because I actually found it fun now. I don't believe I can be that good on radio, but at least thank God for that. So that's another organization that gives funding to mark anything that has to do with female genital mutilation.
Okay, all right, all right. So, how will you rate women's empowerment in Nigeria?
Women's empowerment in Nigeria, I'll still give us below average. I'll give us below average. But it's still encouraging compared to what we have like 5 years ago. So I think we are coming there.
All right. So, what do you see yourself doing in the next 10 years?
In the next 10 years, I want to be that voice that people can walk up to and give help. I want to be that voice that people will not be scared of finances. One of the reasons I got myself so active in FIDA was because I know FIDA is an NGO that deals with indigent women. So I don't want to be that lawyer that people will be scared to walk up to. Oh, I have an issue. There's an issue of domestic violence, but coming up to you, you are going to charge me 250,000 and I can't afford it. So I want to be that voice that my door will be open for every woman and every child to be able to walk up to and say, oh, we need your help, and I'll be able to do it.
Okay. I wish we could go on and on, but this is all we can take on today's episode of The Clouds of Olori. All thanks to Mrs. Antonia Erifolami Daniel. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And until next time, I remain Aishat Oyindamola Adeshino. Bye. It's The Clouds of Olori. Who keep their heels, heads, and standards high. Watch the heroines on our Facebook page at The Clouds of Olori. It's The Clouds of Olori.